Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on Newsweek, where we highlight some of the biggest stories that the news headlined in the last 7 days. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. First, it is one kidnapping too many, with the abduction of students of Government Science Secondary School in Kagara, Niger State, heightening the vulnerability of schools and the level of insecurity across the country. All that Jamilu, Shem, Abbas, Isa, Ezekiel and their schoolmates wanted was to have basic education, with that privilege now under threat in a nation where unfortunate trends like this have become the new normal. But some cheery news got the week started following the appointment of Dr. Okonjo-Iweala as Director General of the World Trade Organization, becoming the first woman and first African to lead the institution. Later on the show, we'll be looking at what Dr. Iweala's appointment means for Nigeria, Africa, and a world battling to end the rage of a global pandemic. And before we begin the program, reports say the Nigeria Air Force has confirmed that 7 personnel on board the NAF Beechcraft King Air B350I aircraft crashed while returning to Abuja Airport after reporting engine failure en route Minna have died. Chief of the Air Staff, Air Vice Marshal Oladayo Amo, has ordered an immediate investigation into the incident, while urging the general public to remain calm and await the outcome of the investigation. So we're glad you could join us. As we start off, the Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello has backed the call by the Nigeria Senate for a declaration of a state of emergency on security in the country. This comes after 27 school children were kidnapped in Kagara, Niger State. Details in this report.
Barely 3 days since the abduction of students from the Government Science College, Kagara, Niger State, the state government has not been resting to secure the release of the students. In a press release from the office of the Secretary to the state government says the government is appealing to the bandits across the state to lay down their arms and embrace dialogue and reconciliation for peace and security to prevail. The SSG was in company of Sheikh Ahmed Gumi during the meeting. The Kaduna-based cleric left Niger State earlier after the visits. For his part, the Niger State Governor has assured the release of the students, teachers kidnapped in Kagara, which will not be delayed for too long. Governor Abubakar Sani Bello spoke to journalists in Minna. Mr. Bello said the story making rounds that the students have been released is false.
In situations like this, we cannot work with rumors. It has to be confirmed. So yes, we're hearing, we've been receiving different rumors from different people within villages. And we're still treating those as rumors until processed. But I want to assure you that we're doing everything we can. We're interfacing with the local communities, with federal authorities, and our own state authorities to ensure that we recover the victims safely.
The governor also advised the use of technology to stop banditry, a measure he says his government has started, but facing some challenges.
Niger is 76,000 square kilometers. We try to provide or to support some of the responsibilities of federal authorities by investing in equipment. How many state governments had to invest in trackers, drones? But even when you buy this equipment, it's a problem to bring them in because you need the approval from the federal authorities. At the moment, even as a state government, we imported, we bought, we paid for 100% for the drone. Over 3 months ago, it's been ready. We cannot pick it up because of end user certificate.
Days are counting. The students are still in their captors' den, Will the negotiations with the bandits reach a positive outcome? The clock is ticking.
Yes, you're on to Newsweek. Thank you for joining us yet again. My guest on the program today is Dennis Amakri, security consultant. Welcome to Newsweek, Mr. Amakri.
Good evening.
It's undeniable, as we start off, that there is an industry of kidnapping in the country that is flourishing at the moment. I mean, after Kankara, and they curiously bear similar names, there is now Kagara. What's aiding this industry?
It is because either we are not listening to the intelligence reports that these governors are getting, or, you know, we are either paying the ransom, because you see, when you pay ransom, you actually empower them to do more. Kidnapping is a low-risk, high-yield venture. And of course, they're enjoying if they see that money will be coming in regularly. So I am very, very surprised that we have not even, for the monies that are being paid, I think we can even use them to empower the security agencies to take care of this problem instead of allowing it to continue along.
By the way, just before I ask the second question, there are unconfirmed reports that the Kagara boys may have been released, unconfirmed. Our reporters are stationed at the Mina Government House to confirm whether that is true or not. To relate that to what you're saying, are you suggesting that if indeed these boys have been released, or those released in the past, would not have, you know, returned home without some form of ransom paid?
Of course, ransoms are, in fact, the thing continues because ransom is being paid.
But the Minister of Information had assured over and over again that ransom would not be paid in the event that the Kagara boys are returned.
You know, the right thing to do is to, you know, you have SWAT teams. The Inspector General of Police has just trained some. I don't know whether they have graduated or not, but that's their job. We know where these people are. So why can't we go there and extricate this, the boys? You know, many people say, oh, they might use them for human shield, you know, but collateral damages do happen. And when the kidnappers are aware that we're not going to get money any longer, then it will stop. But anytime the repetition tells you, because we've not been able to see where money was actually exchanging hands, but the repetition tells you that it is a lucrative thing that everybody wants to get involved in. So I think what we will do is empower, because these things, you know, number one, the intelligence is there. The DSS is giving intelligence to most of these governors, especially the Niger State governor, you know, and he should use it. Not to wait to pay ransom, but use that intelligence, and then if you find out that they don't have enough things to do, they cannot get the equipment, then help them to get the equipment. Now, he said he bought drones, but he does not have approval. That's not possible, because it's for government. It's not for private use. So if he bought drones, even the State Security Service will help him to clear it with the National Security Advisor.
Perhaps because it's a government purchase, it's purchasing in bulk, so there's a sort of delay in procurement.
There is no delay. In fact,
processes.
That will be the fastest period. I've done this before. When I was in government, I used to buy arms. I used to clear arms for government. You know, when people buy them and bring them to the airport, we go in and clear it with expedition, you know, whereby it will go through and then goes back to government, either to the military armory or to the State Security Service or wherever. So it is not anybody telling you that he cannot get approval for security equipment that he bought to be used by security people. That's not true.
As an aside, you know, the military aircraft that crashed today, let's get back to the story. Okay. Do you believe that there's an intelligence failure somewhere along the line that may be responsible for the delay in the arrival of these boys, which unconfirmed reports say they may have been released?
I don't think that's an intelligence failure because intelligence had been supplied to the consumers, including the governor of Niger State and other states. Most of the time they will tell you, we are not chief security, we are chief security officer, but we don't have the troops to command. That is not true. Why is it successful in Lagos State or even in Kogi State and it is not successful in Niger State? You know, because the governor is the chairman of the Security Council of the state. That Security Council is made up of police, SSS, military, even NSCDC, all of them are there.
So why is it not successful in Niger State? That's
the point. Either, you know, there is this tendency for some governors to do it their own way, you know, and if they don't listen to intelligence, it will not work. You know, it will not work. You have to listen to the intelligence agencies because they have more than, and they are supplying you to make your governance easy.
Sheikh Gumi has visited bandits in Zamfara State. Some have described his, you know, reapproachment as a form of patriotism.
Yes.
Do you agree that it helps the situation or it aggravates the situation?
It helps the situation, even when Boko Haram people have been, there are intermediaries. In fact, the International Red Cross, you know, they intervened during the Chibok girls thing. So anybody who can intervene, it's a patriotic duty. But some of the, you know, he has to be briefed properly because the angle he's using to go and negotiate with them might not be good for the country. Number one, yes, talk to them, try to convert them into a religion. That is beautiful. You can do that. But a bandit who can go and kidnap people and collect 10 million, and you are telling him that he should convert and read their religious pamphlet, it will not happen. And then when you now say, okay, we'll give you amnesty, you don't give amnesty to bandits, criminals. That's what they are. They are criminals.
We'll talk more about Sheikh Gumi's role in this whole incident. You're watching Newsweek on TVC News. Let's take a break now and we'll be back shortly. Stay with us. Yes, welcome back. This is Newsweek on TVC News. This week, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala was appointed Director General of the World Trade Organization, becoming the first woman and first African to lead the institution. We'll look at what this means for Nigeria, Africa, and a world battling to end the rage of a global pandemic. As we start off to examining that, let's welcome rights activist Buki Sholibare to TVC News. She's joining us via Skype. Hello.
From the Obihai royal family of Ogwashiuku. Her father, Professor Chukwuka Okonjo, is a traditional ruler of the town. She had an early education in Enugu and Ibadan before proceeding to the United States of America in 1973. She was admitted into the prestigious Harvard University, where she studied economics and graduated in 1976. 5 years later, she obtained her doctorate degree in regional economics and development from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Building her career saw Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala give 25 years of service to the World Bank as a developmental economist and rose to become the Managing Director of Operations, a position she held between 2007 and 2011. Her first stint as Minister of Finance in Nigeria under the Olusegun Obasanjo administration will not be forgotten in haste. She was able to negotiate a debt relief of $18 billion from the Paris Club in 2005. She was reappointed by President Goodluck Jonathan in 2011. Even with her additional role as a coordinating minister of the economy, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala had a handful of distraction from the conflict of views among the Central Bank of Nigeria, NNPC, the country's biggest revenue earner, and the Ministry of Finance. Apart from the latest achievement of being the first African and first female to become the WTO's Director General, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is a woman of many firsts. She is the first African to become World Bank's managing director. She is the first woman to be Minister of Finance in Nigeria and first person to be reappointed Minister of Finance after 4 years interval by another government. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is married to Ikemba, a neurosurgeon. They are blessed with 4 children.
The narrative of a rising Africa is being challenged.
It is no longer news that Nigeria's Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has made history as the first African and first woman to be appointed as the Director General of the World Trade Organization. It is news many Nigerians, including President Muhammadu Buhari, on his Twitter handle, have celebrated both online and offline. Other ministers, like the Minister of Foreign Affairs, have also cheered the news of her appointment. A trending tweet, "Be Like Ngozi Challenge," has challenged other Nigerians to also be like her.
Yes, you're on to Newsweek, and I wish I had my Be Like Ngozi challenge on the program today. And I was hoping that our guest, Buki Shonibare, will adorn her own Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala headgear. She's not, but it's all good. Good evening, Buki Shonibare. Welcome to Newsweek.
Thank you. Thanks for
all right,
having me.
Let's start off very quickly. What does Madam Iweala's appointment mean for Nigeria first and for Africa?
I think it's yet another woman ascending a very enviable act. You know, in recent times, we've seen how women have been attaining such kind of height, whether corporately or otherwise. We've seen Amina Mohammed, we've seen...
Sadly, we don't have a very clear audio connection through to our guest lawyer, Buki Shonibare. We'll continue with that conversation here in the studio, but we'll try to establish a better connection through to Buki Shonibare. So, Mr. Makri, you take it up from here. What does her appointment mean, for Nigeria first and for Africa?
Well, you see, she's a lady that has been a first in so many areas. And I think it's a pride to Nigeria that she's been appointed the DG of the WTO. But most of all, very importantly, it's not just because she's Nigerian. After all, she's Nigerian American, but it's because she has the cerebral capacity to deal with that, and such skills or capabilities in somebody does not come cheap. And I think she's gone through the grill, and then, of course, she knows what she's doing. I just wish her luck, because she's becoming the DG at a very rough time, when the world itself, trade businesses are down, and COVID-19 and all. But I think that's where the tough people come out. Now,
in the international community, we can't particularly call, diplomacy and leadership position in trade organizations, a male-dominated profession. We have Christine Lagarde, we have Nikki Haley.
Yes.
But back home, of course, Dr. Iweala's appointment means a whole lot, particularly for the female gender. How will it open up the space for female players in leadership positions?
When you have a unique person in a position, it serves as something to look up to. Little girls in Nigeria. I was looking at a picture of Okonjo-Iweala when she was a little girl, about 7 years old or something like that. Now, little girls of that age can now see this picture and said, I want to be like this, or I want to be president. Like when people saw Kamala Harris in America, a black lady, it encouraged a lot. So it is something to look up to, and I think it's fantastic.
Yes, but will it change mindsets, set mindsets of the male folk in leadership positions?
I think the male folks are learning their lessons gradually. They are coming to understand that women sometimes can do it better than men, and there are the appendages that come with male, corruption and all those stuff of this. Women are very, very careful of their image, so you don't see that. It doesn't mean that women are not corrupt, but it's not as much as men. So I think they will allow the women to at least handle some positions and do it better.
That sounds like a competition in corruption. I think corruption cuts across. It doesn't have to do with either male gender or the female gender.
It doesn't.
Now, let's talk about some of the challenges that Dr. Iweala was able to surmount, at the international community, before her appointment. The perception that she may not implement the agenda of the West.
Yeah.
As we begin to talk about prospects and expectations from her administration as the new Director General of the WTO, how will she proceed in assuring that she has the interests of all, either West or East?
You see, when you start to be politically correct, it brings a lot of problem, because for her now is to do her job and do it successfully. When Trump brought in politics into it, whereby he felt that, number one, she's a black woman, and his mindset about all that kind of thing. And then, of course, she's Nigerian, which he has called all kinds of names before, and he will prefer the Southern Korean lady, But, of course, people who know her onions have said that, no, this lady must be doing it, and she's the person of our choice. So I think let her just concentrate on her job instead of playing politics, and she will succeed.
That's our desire and our prayers for the Director General of the World Trade Organization, the new Director General. I am told that Bukola is back online now. Okay. Bukola Shonibare. We hope that the network is better. So go ahead. Tell us what this thrilling appointment means for Nigeria and for Africa.
So I think that for Nigeria and Africa, this is yet another black woman ascending a very enviable position. We've seen that with Ngozi Chimamanda Adichie. We've seen that with Amina Mohammed. We've seen that even recently with Kamala Harris. So it tells you, the extent to which women can be bold enough to take up these global positions. But most importantly is the fact that it highlights the importance of education, and it emphasizes the importance of opportunities and access. But, I'm quite concerned because as much as we have Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala ascending this position, one thing that we have noticed in the gender space is that the higher the fewer women we have. NOI is just one of the, sometimes I can say, one of the lucky ones. She went to Harvard, went to MIT, had 25 years with the World Bank. But when we look at Nigeria and we bring it down home, we see that if we monitor the current trajectory around education in Nigeria and the statistics around education in Nigeria, we would see that in that 10 million plus children that are out of school, the larger population are girls. So it makes me wonder the extent to which, or whether it is possible for us to, within the shortest possible time, produce another Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, and then it makes it, quite concerning that as much as we have celebration, it is also a point of reflection for us in terms of whether we can have more girls or more Nigerian girls, ascend to such positions.
Yes, Buki, I hope that that concern of yours will be the exception and not the norm. At least it won't continue to be that way, as more women will be inspired to be like NOI, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. We thank you very much for your time on Newsweek. And I also thank you, Mr. Dennis Amakri, for your time and profound contributions on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. That's our show. You can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG or on our website, tvcnews.tv. And until the next one, I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Bye for now.